Hey, quick video recap. Tell you what, I would say start getting away from the G, the C, and then even like the F bass here with these two fingers. If anything, try using the secondary fingering grips and then work on something like this. Play a G major to a C major, then play a G major to a C major using the second and the third fingering grips. After you do a G major and a C major, scoot up a half step, lay down your whole first finger, and realize that the notes you're covering are on the E string and the A string. When playing the first finger, you're quite literally only shooting for these two, but when you play a flat chord, it is much easier to play two other notes than to put a pointy note in on two notes. Thusly, G sharp and then C sharp, A, D, A sharp or B flat, and then D sharp. This would be a B and an E. So if you could go through the process of hearing each one of these, most of these are relative. So if we're doing like a G major to a C major to a G major to an F, you can also have that same sort of movement of going from a G major to a C, G to an F by going from a G sharp to a C sharp, G sharp to a C sharp to an F sharp. Right? So, ooh, I gotta get that major third in there. It's a hell of a chord. So the idea is you can transpose them almost anything that you've been doing now and try and look for different functionalities in it. The idea is once you get your rhythms down and you got something like, say in the key of G, to C, to G, how about A minor? G, to C, so knowing that has an A minor in there, you don't have to have any special chords to know how to solo over the top of it. But when you lay down your rhythm, you could do a G, you could do a C, you could do a G again, and then when you go to your A minor, you can use all the notes that were in the same key as G. The only thing that you got to think about here is what notes are actually in A minor. All the same notes that are in the key of C are in the key of A minor because it's its relative minor. So quite literally, you can play your A minor chord and then play a C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? Because in the key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. In A minor, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C still work. In the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Well, in the key of E minor, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp is still in the key of E minor. So both have the same notes. That's what I'm getting at. So when you're playing any song, guess what? All the minors are all movable. All the majors, they're all kind of movable. But the idea is when you learn a couple different fingering techniques, you can take the same, that same major scale and play it anywhere. And then those notes start to begin to make sense. So what I would suggest to the suggestible audience, play runs of 2 or 3 notes. So if we were doing like a F to a G to a C, you would have something like, what's the F? That feels like one F, E, F, G, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you go to the G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can do that same lick for each one of those. The idea is play around with the idea and the concepts of one note here, one note there. Get away from using your first finger to play in these so you can open up that first finger for a bunch of other awesomeness. Remember that when you're playing in the key of any key and you put a note that's right below its major, it becomes a major 7. So you have the root goes down to the major 7th, and the minor 7th is what we call a dominant chord. Almost all bluegrass is dominant bass music. So when you're going through this, try and transpose a couple songs if you can. Play it in one key, then play it in another. So if you can play A major, blue moon, Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on this cold, laughing blue. Then what? E, A to D, A, E, A. So if you could do it in A, you could do it in B. B, E, B. And then, what is that? F sharp minor? F sharp major? E, F, F sharp, B, B, F sharp, back to B, back to A, and then try doing it a couple times. I know your hand will cramp up, it'll feel a little funky, but make sure that your thumb's not feeling over the top, and that is staying pretty much straight on the back here. One of the things we covered today was the E minor, so I'm just going to show that again with the F sharp here to the E major. Play the 2 notes in the middle, skip a finger, skip a fret, and play bookends with your 3 and 4 fingers. E major. When you drop that top note down a half step, that's your minor. Why? That's your median note. You have 2 of them. One's a major, one's a minor. Great job today, and I will see you next week. Aloha!